500 milligrams a day is what the health authorities recommend.
And you said if I didn't drink lots of milk, I'd only be good enough to play for Accrington Stanley.
I can drink it slow.
I don't know, Bunny.
Milk is by far one of the most important foods for us humans. For decades, commercials and billboards have shown us that we should drink milk. Your heroes drink it, your role models drink it, and so should you. Interesting how much money is put into advertising. You'd think everyone already knew how healthy it is. But are we being told the truth? Or is it all a lie from the dairy industry? Many of you may think that we humans have always drunk animal milk. Sounds logical too, since it's probably one of the easiest foods to produce. No machines or special tools were needed. A cow was enough. Interestingly, a few thousand years ago, most people couldn't digest animal milk properly. And even today, many people cannot. In the year 2000, a drastic campaign was launched in China. They wanted to get people, especially children, to drink more milk or to drink milk at all. The intention, or rather what they said, was that they want the Chinese to become stronger and bigger through milk. Stronger and bigger than their rivals, the Japanese. Which in itself was a very stupid idea, because in China about 80% of the people are lactose intolerant. Milk, or more specifically dairy products, is a nightmare for many Chinese and many other Asian countries, because this leads to indigestion, abdominal pain, cramps and diarrhea. And it's not just like that in China, also South America, Africa and large parts of Asia. In Europe and the USA, on the other hand, many more adults can produce lactose. But why? During early childhood, especially when breastfeeding, the production of lactase is high because infants depend on digesting breast milk, which contains lactose. With the introduction of solid foods in childhood and going away from breast milk, the need to digest lactose is reduced. In many populations, the availability of breast milk after infancy has been limited because historically, humans have often relied on other food sources. The body needs important resources for the production of lactase. Evolution therefore tended to degrade lactase production after childhood, as most adults no longer depended on the digestion of lactose. However, some populations, particularly those dependent on livestock, developed a genetic adaptation called lactase persistence. In these people, production of lactase remained high in adulthood, allowing them to consume lactose-containing dairy products and being beneficial in their respective environments. But that's not the majority. This means that you can only consume very small amounts of dairy products, otherwise you will experience digestive problems. Let's take a closer look at the health problems. How healthy is milk anyway? According to the media, milk is very healthy in every way. Milk helps build strong bones. Milk is high in calcium. Some even say milk helps you lose weight. At the same time, there are many studies that prove health benefits and studies that disprove it. In fact, this is a very controversial topic. Some studies have found milk to be associated with an increased risk of cancer, but others have shown that this is not the case. Some studies have shown that milk is essential for bone growth. Other studies have shown that milk is not needed at all for healthy bones. If it is so healthy, why do most people produce less and less lactase with age? Think logically. The primary task of the human body is to survive. That's why we feel hunger, pain or tiredness. Our bodies have to make sure we don't die. So why would it precisely reduce the production of lactase so that we can no longer probably digest milk? If milk was really that healthy, our bodies would want to keep getting it. And yeah, milk is important for babies, but the truth is, our bodies stop producing lactase over time because milk becomes irrelevant as we age. Well, as it is so often the case, it's not about health, it's about money. Since I do research on different food topics, I noticed something, a finding that is repeated over and over again. There are studies on almost every important food. Previously, we found that many results contradicted each other. Sometimes milk is healthy, sometimes it is said that it increases the risk of cancer, and to be honest, I'm starting to ask myself how important are studies if they constantly contradict each other. And here comes the realization. Who funded the study? Let's talk about a big problem in the world of science, which is often ignored. Where does the money come from? Nobody works for free. Someone is paying for your study hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. Imagine your client is a milk producer. They want you to research all the health benefits. Of course, there is also an indirect interest associated with the handshake. To put it more simply, I give you money to show that my product is good, whether it's true or not. Whether you withhold important results, burn them or hide them, whether the data is falsified, I don't care. I just want my product to be presented in the best possible light. And guess who funded most of the dairy studies? The dairy industry itself. Why do we even think that we absolutely need milk? Why is it unhealthy to live without milk? You want the answer? I'll show you. It's no secret that advertising is one of the most effective ways to sell more products or even to spread an opinion. In the past, of course, there was no such thing as the internet advertising and social media. Advertising was broadcasted primarily through television and radio, but there was a third, and in my opinion, stronger form of advertising: word of mouth. If you want an opinion to spread widely, the television is not enough. People need to talk about it. You need to tell your kids, your friends, your co-workers, your partner. You need to tell everyone. And what is the best way to achieve this? Show people that it is healthy and that it will help them. The message then spreads by itself. Let's be honest, is milk or are dairy products harmful to our bodies in the long term? A lot of people can't digest higher amounts of dairy products and feel a little nauseous, but that's a well-known fact and not really a secret. But that's not the point here either. It's about the lie, the fraud of the dairy industry. Just because something isn't unhealthy doesn't mean it's automatically healthy. It's a blatant lie funded by the dairy industry itself. It all started in the US, like so many lies about food. For this, I can highly recommend the video by Johnny Harris, which shows in a precise way how the lie manifested itself. From the 19th century, new products came onto the market, such as margarine, a product that competed with butter. Milk consumption and related dairy products decreased. So, what did the dairy industry do to get more dairy products consumed again? As mentioned earlier, they started funding studies. It was often about emphasizing the important nutrients, for example, vitamin A. Now it gets very interesting. Vitamins were only discovered in this period, especially in the early 19th. There were many studies that discovered vitamins. Even the term vitamin was introduced at this time. Before that, you didn't really know what it was. Vitamin A is called vitamin A because it is the first vitamin discovered. If you ever wondered why vitamins have a letter at the end, simple as that. It's the order of discovery. Vitamin B was discovered second and vitamin C third. And some of those studies that discovered vitamins came from the dairy industry. And of course, they exploited this discovery to make milk even healthier. They also formed an organization called the National Dairy Council. Together they started spreading the message that milk was essential to human beings. Now think about it. The majority of people can no longer properly digest milk after childhood, which is around 6 years of age. Moreover, in the past, it was even more extreme. There were very few people who could digest milk completely. But from the year 1900, it was said that people could not survive without milk? Not bad. That's what I call manipulation of the facts. But it goes on, as Johnny Harris summarized very well. Now, milk was no longer just a baby food. It was practically the most important ingredient in a person's health. Do you want to grow up? Drink more milk. Do you want to get strong? Drink more milk. Do you want to live longer? Drink more milk. And that's how it found its way into the military. Milk has literally become America's patriotic food. The US authorities supported this and thus milk consumption increased rapidly. After the First World War, the milk producers were in a difficult position because the soldiers consumed less milk than before in the military. The producers' warehouses filled up with milk and consumption would fall sharply. However, US authorities did not want America's patriotic food to decline. So what did they do? You just have to convince people to drink more milk. Johnny Harris describes the development of the coming time as a kind of spiderweb and network of different organizations that together have strongly promoted the milk lie. As we discussed earlier in the studies, it was an ingenious combination of advertising and lies. An interesting partnership developed here as well when the National National Dairy Council allied with the US Department of Agriculture. Together they run strong propaganda, and this time it wasn't just any milk company, it was the US agency itself. They wanted people to believe that every child should drink at least 1.25 liters of milk per day. And the US Department of Agriculture also made or funded new studies. And of course, their great and credible studies backed up their claims. According to their studies, children who drank more milk were much taller. Even studies on rats should prove that. What has been found, however, is that all of these studies were funded directly or indirectly by the people who benefited most from drinking more milk. The milk producers were later even financed by the government so that they could continue to produce a lot of milk. Anything that was patriotic had to be protected, whether it was a lie or not. However, milk is not only very popular in the US, over time this lie has spread everywhere. Be honest, didn't you think for a long time milk would always be the perfect food that makes you healthy, bigger and stronger? Honestly, I always thought that as a kid. Another significant issue resulting from the US government's promotion of increased consumption was the lack of proper cow husbandry. This video is more about the lies of the dairy industry, but that's also a big point. If you artificially increase consumption even though you don't need milk, you cause immense damage to the animals. More and more cows were exploited and kept in worse conditions. Every cow had to produce more milk. Every cow had less space because you needed more and more, and in the end you brought factory farming to an unprecedented level. And worst of all, milk isn't even so healthy. It's just a big lie to make more money. Milk has changed over time. Well, marketing has changed. Milk is still milk. In the past, especially in the early 20s and 30s, milk was sold as a primary food and as a sign of patriotism. But advertising has changed a bit over time. They asked for more stars. Milk is cool now. All the cool people drink it. This was a huge campaign, not only in advertisements, but also in movies. Milk was now healthy and cool. The US authorities said so. The commercials said so. Your mother said so. The supposed studies said so. Also, it was not surprising that everyone fell for it. However, milk consumption has steadily decreased. Here I am talking about pure milk consumption, not dairy products. Now it gets very interesting. The dairy industry is doing great, even when milk consumption is low, because milk products are booming. If we look at dairy consumption in the US, it hits a new all-time high practically every few years. Here comes the genius tactic change. The milk lobby has made cheese increasingly popular. Now it's getting really shady. The dairy industry has its own marketing agency called Dairy Management. Dairy Management has many partnerships with fast food chains because cheese is very popular in various dishes such as pizza, burgers, mozzarella sticks and much more. Honestly, there is practically everything with cheese these days. The cheese advertising campaigns were a complete success. Milk consumption has fallen sharply, but cheese consumption has increased fundamentally. Johnny Harris even showed an email delivered by the milk marketing agency to the fast food chain Pizza Hut showing how the dairy industry is trying to upsell. Honestly, cheese is awesome. I love cheese and so do many other people. As a food, cheese tastes fantastic. Then why is this so reprehensible? It doesn't matter that they want to sell more cheese. Remember how it all started. It was all about health from the start. After all, it's about bringing milk to people so that everyone becomes tall and strong, so that our bones are strong. What does fast food cheese have to do with health? Absolutely nothing. It's even bad for health. The American Heart Association recommends eating no more than 3 servings of 42-gram cheese per day. That's 126 grams of cheese per day, which in itself isn't really much. Cheese tastes damn good, but you shouldn't eat a lot of it due to certain nutrients like saturated fats or sodium. High sodium levels can cause high blood pressure, and too much saturated fat leads to a range of problems including cholesterol. So the milk lobby has been using all their might, lies, propaganda, and even with the help of the government to sell tons of milk with the explanation that it is healthy. But now they are trying to sell as much cheese as possible through advertising and fast food so that everyone eats a lot every day. Funny, I thought it was about health. It is often argued and discussed whether milk itself is healthy, and milk is a very important source of nutrition, especially for babies. From a certain age, often after the age of 6, milk becomes practically irrelevant for nutrition. We get all nutritions from other food sources. Approximately 5 billion people don't even drink milk, and 68% of people are lactose intolerant. Milk is absolutely nothing special. You will have absolutely no health problems if you don't drink milk. The dairy industry is a business based on false health claims, often backed by government lobbies. It looks like it was a lie from the start, a lie that has deceived us humans and brought many animals to hell. I told you, in the end, it's all about money.